All right. So, but the big story this week was obviously a sad one. The trans Minnesota Catholic school church shooter. Obviously, this made news all over the country. This thing, 19 victims because of this person here. 2 children were killed, 8 and 10 years old. 14 other children were injured, as well as 3 adults were injured at a Catholic school / church in Minnesota. Make no mistake about it. You were not supposed to know the shooter was trans. You were not supposed to see any of these drawings, videos, or manifesto. This is a picture of him literally with a picture of Jesus Christ's head on a target that he used for target practice. It was all supposed to be covered up and disappeared before anyone could even notice. YouTube scrubbed the manifesto and the videos that were online that he posted, by the way, himself. Whatever. This demon posted themselves. Showing where on a drawing of the Catholic school where he planned and intended to open fire, and a drawing of him even having a conversation with himself in a mirror, with what appeared to be a demon. So he knew that he was either possessed or he was talking to something. And if you listen to the manifesto and watched it, he was clearly disturbed. So everything this trans monster wrote on his guns and clips were word for word Democrat and CNN talking points of who and what to hate, including, quote, kill Donald Trump and kill Trump now. There was another one where he was pro-Palestine, where it says 6 million were not enough, talking about the Jews who died in the Holocaust. Obviously, defend equality, the gay rights, and things like that. This is left-wing propaganda ideology that this person clearly had a fascination with. Clearly. And even one of the videos, he said, literally, I'm tired of being trans. I don't want to be trans. He sounded like he regretted his decision. So, again, been pumped full of hormones, a crazy cocktail of violence, and hormones that never should have been there to begin with. But yet all this stuff came out about this killer on this manifesto with these guns, markings, and things like that. And yet you've got crazy liberals like Rosie O'Donnell, who, as far as I know, is still not living in the United States. She still thinks that this was perpetuated and that this violence was done by a white guy who was a Republican MAGA supporter and a white supremacist.
So about the Minnesota shooting, and it brought me right back to Columbine in 1999, when I just could not get it through my head that students in America were shooting each other in schools. And this was a church inside a Catholic school. And what do you know, was a white guy, Republican, MAGA person.
Nope.
What do you know?
So again, how do you see what I just showed you and come to the conclusion? She got the white guy part right. I refuse to call him by his preferred pronouns. I'm sorry. He does not deserve that. But she got the white guy part right before he
She didn't. Well, that's why they're going with the whole thing that it wasn't trans anyway, but she didn't.
Well, yeah. She probably thought he wasn't a trans, but yes. But Republican? No. Republicans don't write kill Donald Trump on their guns. MAGA supporter? Definitely not. And a white supremacist. I mean, the only thing I can think of where she got that one was the 6 million, weren't enough type situation, But even so, it's like, no, you're what she's doing here is malicious. It's deceptive and manipulative. What she's doing. She knows, But Jesse Waters over there on Fox had a great monologue the other night discussing this entire thing. I think he would describe it far better than I possibly could. So let's listen to him real quick.
Transgender who hates Trump's Christians and Jews shoots up kids at a Catholic school, and the media wants to take away your handgun. So how are we supposed to protect ourselves from trans shooters? The media is bad at pattern recognition. We aren't. Just 2 years ago, another trans 20-something walked into a Christian school in Nashville with a rifle and shot 3 kids and 3 adults.
And it disappeared very fast.
They buried the manifesto and locked down the case. We've seen trans shootings in Colorado and in Maryland. They even shot up an ICE facility in Texas. And it seems like half of Antifa's trans. A couple of they-thems just got popped for firebombing Teslas. The mayor of Minneapolis says, you can't say that.
Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We
We're
should
not.
be operating from a place of love for our kids.
What do you think trying to tell trans kids that they're not, mentally stable is? You think that's hate? We're trying to tell them in love that they're confused. You got it twisted, my friend.
I don't hate anyone who thinks they're trans. I feel sorry for them. But statistically, the trans population has been prone to violence. That's not villainizing, that's reality. And if
Right.
you can't recognize reality, you're in danger. We love the American people, especially American children. And if they're troubled and believe they're somehow a girl trapped in a boy's body, we want to get them help. We don't want to give them hormones and operate on them. Society shouldn't be trying to produce more trans kids. We shouldn't be encouraging an emotional disorder or whatever this is. And doctors should stop profiting from it. Great Britain ended child sex change surgeries. They said it's barbaric, and they're right. And politicians should stop elevating the trans issue like it's the civil rights struggle of the 21st century.
That's
You
for
see
sure.
it all over Minneapolis.
Minneapolis will continue to be a safe haven for our trans community.
For being a safe haven.
Safe
for
haven, huh?
transgender
How'd that go?
individuals.
We have sued them for gender affirming care. Yes, we are not going to scapegoat our transgender community.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
So if my kid comes up to me and were to say, I want to be Batman, do I let him put on a cape and cowl and run around New York City at night trying to kill or stop criminals? No, that's not what parents do.
So when your 9-year-old
I just
tells
sent you a
he's horse,
video
you let him sleep
that-
out in the barn and eat hay? What are we doing here? Just a few years ago, the psychiatric community classified transgenderism as a mental illness. Then doctors went woke and removed it as a condition, and now millions of young Americans are identifying themselves as trans and getting high fives. When someone has an illness, we should treat it instead of affirm it. We don't celebrate schizophrenia. We don't encourage depression.
Sure.
Teenagers are confused. Sometimes these things are just a phase. And if they're not, all right, then a grown man can wear a dress. If he wants to do that in America, he has that right. We're a pretty darn tolerant society. But the left's weaponizing trans kids and turning them into culture warriors. And they've been turned loose against the church, schools, and Trump. You see it, I see it. The trans clan has a militant wing, and it's out for blood. They're taking lives, defiling churches, and freaking everybody out. And some politicians are doing more to protect shooters like Westman than soft targets like schools. In 2023, private schools in Minnesota begged Governor Walz to fund more school safety. They told him it was an urgent and critical need. Minnesota had an $18 billion budget surplus, but the governor didn't do it. Instead, he turned Minnesota into a trans sanctuary. And his attorney general, Keith Ellison, sued Trump so they can keep castrating little boys.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Walz failed. Our leaders keep failing us. They failed us during COVID, on trade, on immigration. They say they care about kids, but they locked them down and oversaw an obesity and chronic disease epidemic. And now there's a growing trans epidemic, and they won't even admit it. Nope. Just like crime. They created a crisis and then lie about it and blame you for not being compassionate. But their fake compassion is getting people
Getting people killed is what he said there. So, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, this is a mental illness problem. And those who support it are even more mentally ill, if you ask me. This is a
If you
Minnesota's
play the
Lieutenant
video
Governor.
that I sent you, it's from a young woman who's a tomboy who had it shoved down her throat.
Right.
And this is
Okay, let me see if I can pull it up here right quick. So, yeah, this is the indoctrination that have been perpetuating on these people, these innocent. I wouldn't say. I mean, some of them, choose this, but other times it's like they have been told it's a good thing to do, and it's not. So here's a video of one certain instance. There you go.
2016. That same day, one of my teachers was introducing herself, to which she made the statement, "And if anybody in this classroom happens to be trans or wants to go by anything different, just let me know." She made dead eye contact with me, and I have never been so confused in my entire life. The following year, we had a gender bender day at school. I was really excited to wear my brother's clothes to school because I just felt more comfortable in boy clothes. That didn't mean I wanted to be a boy. A teacher had made a comment to me saying that she just thought I was trans and that it wasn't actually a gender bender day to me because she just thought I might just be trans anyways. Again, extremely confused. Throughout high school, I was trying to figure myself out and constantly having people down my throat saying, "You could be trans, this and that," definitely did not help. It sent me into a deep depression and a spiral into an identity crisis. At 17 years old, in December of 2019, I came out as gay. I thought that would be the end of it. However, more people came forward and said, "You're not a gay woman, you're a trans man. Are you sure you're a gay woman and not just a trans man?" It was then suggested to me to get binders, and I had no idea how to react. I didn't. Actually, I talked to my stepmom one day and I said, "I want to get a binder." I did. I really did. I thought that's what I needed to be comfortable in my body. And she looked at me and she said, "No, we are not doing that. No." At the time, I was upset. Why isn't anyone listening to me? I very quickly came to realize why. Because she was protecting me.
Right.
Looking back now, my parents were protecting me. What makes me sad about 2025 is I continue to see young girls around the ages of 12 to 16 being told that because they are masculine that they are trans. And this breaks my heart. Why? Because it's telling these young girls that there is something inherently wrong with you and you have to dramatically change your body to be happy. Instead of telling them, "You're perfect just the way you are and it's okay that you're masculine." I grew up with my stepmom constantly telling me, "You're just a tomboy. It's okay. You're a tomboy." I'm a tomboy too. I like to wear my flannels and my sweatpants. It's okay. That doesn't mean anything. Looking back now, heck yeah, I was a tomboy and I still am. Now, can we please stop telling other 13-year-old tomboys that they're boys? I don't think you understand the damage it's doing to them. You're just a tomboy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing that bugs me about it. We have to listen to what our kids tell us, and then parents are just trying to protect you, telling you the truth. Come on.
So there are parents that put on to their kids, but most times those kids come home from school.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going by a different name at school, and now they want binders, and because the teachers are pushing on them.
Yeah. It's like,
and being gay, I'm just gonna say, some tomboys, could you see them with a guy? Like, honestly,
right.
If they find comfort in a woman, cool. You don't have to make it weird. I don't have to see you at a pride fest because you're gay. Like, if you're happy, live your life with your partner, not your orgy infested fucking transgendered bullshit.
Yeah. It's gotten out of hand. And this is why everybody's so damn confused, because they've been told since they were young, well, you may be this, you may be that. When if you were an actual smart adult, you would set them down and say, this could only be a phase you're going through. And if you wait like this, it's like it may eventually turn out, oh, yeah, I wasn't that after all. But by the time some of them figure it out, that's too late now.
Not only that, we've got to look at our diets. Kids these days, God only knows how bad it's all. I'm going through fucking menopause right now, and I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. So if the diets of our children suck, they can't deal with the hormones. They can't deal with their bodies changing.
Yeah, it's just too much. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
with all these, teachers and adults who are, been brainwashed by the media or the Democrats or leftists or whatever it might be, this liberal ideology, they push it on their kids. And this is how we get a bunch of confused individuals.
Mhm.
And that's just the way it goes, including the media, who apparently, as they pretend that they couldn't possibly figure out the motive of this Minnesota trans shooter. Get ready for nothing but gun control talk from the left and the press. Guns, I cannot, every time we go through this, guns are not the threat. This happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a Democrat-run city with some of the strictest gun laws in the United States, and the Catholic school church was a gun-free zone. I ask you, Democrats, one more time. Those of you who are screaming about safety for our kids and stuff, did it work? I mean, how, you guys act so
Could
frustrated.
you imagine? So
Yeah.
John from Badlands, his kids go to a Christian school or Catholic school, and Friday he goes to mass with them and he carries.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if one of those people that day was allowed to carry their gun?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably wouldn't have killed or at least injured more. I mean, they killed two, or he killed two. But yeah, maybe those two would still be with us now.
Nobody could have protected themselves. Your gun laws are working just fucking great.
Yeah, they're going great. Yeah, the goal is taking away guns doesn't fix the problem. I'm going to get into why. I'm sick of people pretending the answer is fewer guns. The real issue is a culture that affirms mental derangement at every single turn. But Democrats continue to blame the guns. Here's Minnesota Democrat Senator Amy Klobuchar blaming Republicans on MSNBC and inaccurately describing the gun as an automatic rifle.
It, of course, makes me think about guns and all the work we've done to ban these automatic rifles and to do something when it comes to the background checks and everything. And we keep getting thwarted. We were able to pass.
He obtained the gun legally, by the way. Background check and all. And by the way, correction, it was not an automatic rifle. Again, I don't know how many times we have to explain this to people. The people who are always against gun laws or more restrictive gun laws are the ones who understand guns the least. And I'm not the biggest gun aficionado out there, but even I understand. The AR-15 rifle is a semi-automatic, okay? AR stands for Armalite Rifle, not assault or automatic rifle. It's semi-automatic, meaning you pull the trigger one time, it equals one bullet comes out the gun. Same as any handgun. By the way, if you got a pistol, one pull, one bullet. The shooter, by the way, also had a shotgun and a pistol on him. So it wasn't just the AR-15, neither of which are automatics. But again, either the Democrats don't actually know the difference or they're lying to you to scare you further. Either way, they're wrong. But of course, MSNBC doesn't care about accuracy in their reporting and didn't correct her here. This is why they failed so badly that they're in the process of rebranding to MS Now because NBC wants nothing to do with them, quite frankly. Here's another video of Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry making all sorts of no sense here.
The reality is that we have more guns in America than we have people. The reality is that we have these assault rifles that can reel off 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine before the person.
30 clips in conjunction of a magazine. Does that make any sense to you, Brandon, as a guy who owns guns? That's
nobody says clips out of gangsters and movies.
Yeah. A clip is often referred to for the magazine. But you can't unload 30 clips.
You can't
unload magazine.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
This guy has no clue what he's talking about. Period. None. What he's probably trying to say is 30 bullets in one mag. Is probably what he's trying to say. But he also called it an assault rifle, which means you hold the trigger and multiple bullets come out. This AR-15s don't do that, and they're not legal, mind you. Again, he obtained this gun legally. So again, I ask you, where is more gun laws going to fix this problem? But the media covering for this demon in their reporting, they also said they made sure to respect the demon's pronouns, by the way, which I won't do. I'll call him a he because that's what he was before the transition. Not saying he was trans. The media repeatedly made sure they did not mention the word trans in their reporting. They were trying to make sure you didn't know that, by the way, despite he said it in his own manifesto video. ABC News, by the way, also said that Trump's name was on the gun, but they didn't say in what context. Listen to this.
We've also been going through it and can tell you there are crude diagrams of the church. There are also photos of the weapons, and they include all sorts of writings.
Brandon, your mic.
Names of past mass shooters, criticism of Israel, the name of President Trump written on the guns. There are also racial slurs, nihilistic statements, all painting the picture of a disturbed individual who carried out this mass shooting.
We don't dislike many of these outlets enough. See, he didn't lie. Donald Trump's name was mentioned on the weapons, but they just don't tell you what was actually said. This is what was said. You can read it.
Yep.
This is also what was said on the optic. But let's go back. How was ABC reporting this?
The name of President Trump written on the guns. There are also...
Unbelievable. Now, why wouldn't they want to report what was actually written on the guns? Because if they actually tell you what was said, then we might have to ask, well, how did this person get to the point where they thought they needed to do that to the president? Who's saying what and what media is covering it? And how are they covering things to get people to believe these things and think them? Then Democrats and the media on the left might have to look in the mirror and say, hey, the rhetoric that we've been pushing and spouting is dangerous. We've been saying things that are out of control, and we've been manipulating people emotionally to the point where they feel like they need to take action against someone's life. They don't want to have that conversation.
Nope.
They want to continue to push lies. They want to continue to manipulate people in the direction they want people to go, and they don't want to have the consequences for it. Like, it's so blatant, like they can't even report what was said. For example, they mentioned criticisms of Israel. You know what else this person wrote?
Yep. 6 million wasn't enough. That's what I was alluding to.
Wasn't
earlier.
enough. We do not hate most of the mainstream media enough. We need to keep calling them out and keep destroying their credibility until they start to report things honestly. If you're tired of the mainstream media.
So yeah, again, they said his name was on the gun, but again, they didn't show the kill Donald Trump part. How dishonest is that? I mean, unbelievable, guys. The other things they don't like to tell you are stats on trans shooters in regards to mass shootings by demographic. So yeah, trans male and female, biological males or females, and non-binary people are at the top when it comes to mass shootings from 2015 to 2025. Asian men, black men come in third and fourth, technically. White men are way down here, by the way, which is the one that the media loves to talk to you about the most. They're just above Asian women and Hispanic men. So yes, they don't like to tell you that trans people are at the top of this list. That's something they actively tried to avoid. Just that little bit of fact, that detail there makes all the difference in the world. And as Jesse Waters mentioned, there is a pattern going on, ladies and gentlemen. See if I can blow this up a little more here. But there, my bad. This graphic right here. I mean, not all of these were confirmed as trans, but the majority of them were or is non-binary or whatnot. There was clearly some hormonal imbalance going on here. So are we ready to have the conversation yet? Legitimately, the hard conversation about whether or not transgenderism is in fact a mental illness, which we've on the right have been saying since the beginning. If you're in a body, male or female, and you think you're the opposite sex, you've clearly got a brain malfunction somewhere.
This morning who went into a Catholic church and did the absolute unthinkable to innocent, defenseless children has been identified as Robin Westman, a transsexual in his 20s who was known for espouting complete and utter leftist nonsense. If you think that the left is not partially to blame for this attack, you are lying to yourself. This is the narrative, this is the propaganda that they have been pushing down your children's throat since they were old enough to stare at a screen and have some semblance of an understanding of what it was saying, and now this is the outcome of it. For too long, we have seen attacks from transsexual individuals being completely swept under the rug by the media because it didn't fit the narrative. We've seen the same thing with the Free Palestine movement, which of course this individual also wanted to link himself to. It's absolutely disgusting. Even on the front cover of his notebook, you will see right away a vision of violence associated with the trans flag, because this is what they are told they need to do, and that it's okay, and that you should go out and you should do harm to Trump supporters, and you should do harm to anybody who questions your identity. And this is a totally valid reaction to have. This is the type of rhetoric we have been hearing for how long from people like Maxine Waters, who publicly stated to go out and harass those who support Donald Trump. How long we've seen this shit from people like Ilhan Omar, who now wants to give her condolences. She could shove her condolences where the sun don't shine, because she is in part responsible for this absolute utter nonsense. Right all over his weapons, right? He had scrawled stupid shit like to end the life of Donald J. Trump. Isn't that a similar rhetoric to what we've been hearing from the left ever since the 2 assassination attempts, where the left is saying, damn, I wish they wouldn't have missed. All over his weapon, you see absolute, complete anti-Semitic nonsense, such as 6 million wasn't enough. This is something similar that we've seen back in California in 2024, where a man also opened fire on a Christian day school because of the Free Palestine movement. Because if you think that it stops with Jewish hate, you are deceiving yourself. It does not stop with Jewish hate. All over his weapon, it has that he's praying for the destruction of Israel, and mashallah, because this is what they are indoctrinated to believe. Have you woken up yet? Are you understanding that this has everything to do with you? For so long, whenever I've talked about the pro-Israel movement, I hear from Americans, oh, I care about it. I don't want to see innocent people die, but that's them. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you, my friend. You are an infidel to these people, and they will use and they will abuse the mentally ill leftists in order to push their agenda onto you. And I hope you wake up before it's one of your children.
I think she nailed that pretty well. But anyway, Miranda looks fit to be tied over there. Like she just,
I'm over it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And another bit of interesting facts that they don't want to tell you is, as Miranda alluded to earlier, armed citizens stopped 48% of criminal shootings, and the FBI lied about it.
Freaking huge. Armed citizens stopped 48% of all criminal shooters last year. And the FBI was just caught massively lying about those numbers in their public reports. They recorded, get this, none of them. 0%. Now you and I and everyone.
I want to point out that this, obviously, the most recent report was during Biden's administration. Obviously, everything up in here, Trump could be with, but yeah, the FBI. But the FBI has been run by some shady folks.
Those local heroes on social media, but rarely do we ever see these stories in mainstream media. Well, the script is about to flip because a new study by the Crime Prevention Research Center reveals that armed civilians stopped over 1/3 of active criminal shooters between 2014 and 2024, nearly 10 times higher than FBI's reported 3.7% average. And again, with even more Americans getting armed post-2020, just last year alone in 2024, civilians stopped half of all criminal shooters. Yet, as I just stated, the FBI recorded 0 of them. You might be asking, how is this possible? Well, while digging for the study, researchers found that police were often falsely credited instead of the armed civilian, which is a reporting pattern that clearly increased over the last 10 years. Now, this begs the question, why would they work so hard to hide the significant benefits of an armed public?
Good question. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? But yeah, as I started to say a second ago, and now on top of all of that, in California, normal girls now have to sign a form declaring they are the ones with a mental illness if they refuse to share a bathroom or a locker room with a biological boy. What the hell, man? That's California for you. That's Gavin Newsom's America, ladies and gentlemen. You want him as your president? I sure as hell don't. But I'll tell you right now, if I'm Donald Trump, transgenderism must be reclassified. It has been before. It needs to be reclassified as a mental illness and should be an automatic disqualification, I should say, for purchasing firearms. And any doctor who gives out hormones and takes part in transgender therapy or surgeries, their license should be immediately revoked at the very least. I'm done with this crap, man. I'm done. And after listening to what Democrat leaders, elected officials, biased journalists in the media, and DNC paid social media influencers are saying about prayer and faith following this tragedy, I sincerely don't understand how any Christian, Bible-believing, God-fearing, Jesus-loving Christian can continue to vote for Democrats. They're literally telling you to your face that your faith is irrelevant. You going to sit back and take that? Here's Brian Krasenstein, this moron. Praying is the problem here, not the solution. People who use prayer instead of action. If prayer worked, a house of prayer wouldn't have just experienced this tragedy. At a time when people need prayer the most, they want to vilify it. You want to stop murder? You're looking at the wrong weapon. You should be looking at this one. This is the weapon you should be looking at. The Bible. B-I-B-L-E. It's the basic instructions before leaving Earth. You live by this, murder stops. That's the only way. But not enough people utilize that weapon against evil anymore. You know how I know for a fact that removing guns will have zero impact on murder? The sixth commandment, thou shalt not kill, was written long before gunpowder was even invented. And it was still a problem. Cain didn't need a gun to kill Abel. It's a sin and heart problem. It always has been, always will be. End of story, end of debate. I will not stop praying because you don't think it works. My God is bigger than your liberal opinion. Take your gun control, your faux outrage, and shove it. And by the way, you know how I know it's faux outrage? You don't give a damn about these kids. You know how I know? Because not a single Democrat came out for gun control when Donald Trump got shot. How some so-called Christians, and I stress so-called Christians, can support these evil Democrats when they attempt to call out your faith to your face is beyond me. Thank you for checking out this clip from the Dragon's Den podcast. If you like what you saw here, please consider checking out our full podcast every single Friday night here on the channel, live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Rumble. And until our next video, guys, take care, and God bless.